All that said, we already got Blue Fire for you tonight. We'll be learning that, and I will hand it over to Runner, let him introduce himself.
Hey there, everybody. My name is G-lint. I'm going to be showing off Blue Fire for you today. It is a very cool Metroidvania-esque 3D platformer inspired by games like Hollow Knight and Legend of Zelda. I'm very excited to show it off to you today, and if everybody's ready, I'm basically good to start. Actually, maybe I'll go over the settings first before we start the timer or anything like that, if you guys are down.
Yeah, go for it.
For sure. So, in terms of game settings, not much is going to have to change, but we have lovely developers for this game since it's a nice little indie game and we were able to communicate with them. And they actually introduced a speedrunning mode for this game. So there actually is a timer in-game that we use to time our runs. So if you ever wanted to speedrun this game in the future, you will have to turn the in-game timer on, as it will display in the top right corner of the game whenever you're doing a run. As well as other stuff, I'd recommend turning stuff like the auto camera adjust, smooth camera, idle camera movement, camera shakes off. It just makes the game feel a little smoother, but if you like those things, all the more power to you. Actually, let me turn the music on a little bit too, since the music is great. Alongside that, controls are all personal preference, so do with those as you will, and the graphics settings are, again, all based on your PC, so don't worry about these. If a PC powerful enough to run it at high graphics, go for it. I like running stuff on low because I like to run at those graphics. I also personally run at a frame limit of 120. In terms of difficulty for the game, we're going to be running Glitchless today, which the game, or the title might turn you off a little bit. Glitchless seems like a casual playthrough. Trust me, the run is kind of crazy. We're going to do some insanely cool sequence breaks, and there is still very cool innate movement in the game. So if anything, I think this is my favorite category out of all of them. Probably a good thing considering it's the one that I run. We'll be running the game on the lowest difficulty just because the only thing that really changes is boss HP and amount of damage you take. So to speed up the run, playing on a lower difficulty definitely helps a little bit. Lets us do some more interesting stuff to not worry about our HP all too much. So we run on regular difficulty, and I guess that was go. So start the timer if you would like. As you can see, the in-game timer actually pauses during cutscenes. There's actually going to be some interesting cases where we can actually save time in a funny way because of that. Most in-game timers for other games that you run might not pause during cutscenes, but since it does in this game, we can save some weird time where things in the level move while we're in the cutscene, and as we move forward, we can save time because of that. So this first cutscene in the game is unskippable, and you might see me skip some cutscenes in this game that you aren't able to skip if it's your first playthrough. That's because the developers put in place a kind of block where you aren't able to skip most cutscenes in the game until you've beaten the game at least one time. So if you're going to want to speedrun this game and save your sanity, because there is quite a few cutscenes in this game, just beat the game one time, and then once it does, I think it unlocks something in your save file, which allows you to skip stuff. So the run starts as soon as we leave this tube. The in-game timer will start. So we break out of the tube by attacking it, and we enter the world of Penumbra. This is Umbra, our main protagonist, and right off the bat, we have quite a few cool abilities. We start off with a dash and just a single jump as of now. The dash is really cool in this game. It might feel a bit off to some players. I'll turn on an input display just to show you off the bat here. Dash, for reference, is on my right click. I just find it the most comfortable, but it won't be there by default. But if I just tap the dash key, you'll notice that I move a very small distance. So in this game, you're going to want to hold your dash key for the entirety of your dash to make sure you're getting full distance. This is very important in most of the run. But other than that, the main form of movement will be dashing around, and a thing will be called tap dashing, which is where I jump, and as soon as I become airborne, I dash, because as soon as I land, the lag at the end of the dash gets canceled, allowing us to dash again sooner. If we were just to dash on the ground the whole time, one, the terrain can become finicky because the terrain is very accurate in this game. So by just jumping and dashing, we save a lot of that hassle throughout most of the run. Another small thing you'll see me do occasionally is anytime I'm going down, I'm going to attack as well, which will cancel the horizontal lock my character is in, Umbra's in, when I do this, So anytime I'm going down like a shallow stairs like this, you'll see me dash and attack at the same time. All right, those are the very much basics. Right now, we're going to go get the first ability we unlock in the game. The first thing that, like, speedrunning wise, you'll notice me do to save a little bit of time is that I hop over doors. All the doors open from the top down in this game. So we can't necessarily sneak under them, but we can try to sneak over them as soon as we can. So if you notice this door is going to open from the top, I'm going to try and jump and dash over the door as soon as it opens. And this is going to be our first combat arena. Right before it starts, the combat in this game is very basic. You kind of have like a 3-hit combo on the ground, where you can attack 3 times, and the third one is a slash, and the other one is you just like have like air attacks in the air. If you ever hit an enemy, you'll kind of like pogo off of them and stay in the air. And you can also lock onto targets like this. So I can stay in the air like this and just do like a 3-hit combo. Most of the combat in this game when it comes to general small enemies is going to be us trying to clump them together to try to kill them all at once to save as much time as possible. So as I enter this arena, I'm going to try to jump and attack the bigger enemy and have the other 2 small enemies attack me, which brings them close to the big enemy, and then try to kill them all at once after that. Jump dash forward, jump and attack this guy. Other 2 ones come and attack, and I can kill all 3 of them at once. Wow, how cool is that? And we unlock 2 of our first abilities. We unlock the shield. It doesn't know what button it is because it's my mouse button, which is a little bit strange for this game. But we get a shield. We don't use it too much in the run, but there is a parry mechanic, which I'll explain a little bit later. And there is also an old key that we're going to use to open a door that we ran past. This is going to be the first instance of save and quit. This game has a couple times, especially later on in the game, where we're going to be warping a lot, and save and quitting will save quite a bit of time in that section. So from here, we just go into our press menu, save, and quit. And then we can just quickly re-enter the save, and we'll be put back where we were. Oh my god, so much information right at the start. It's crazy.
Hope everybody's taking notes.
Yeah. I want at least a 12-page dissertation on my presentation after the show, so please be ready for that. As you see, we spawned back in the tube, and this is the locked door that we could open earlier. For some reason, this is a really weird bug on PC. I don't know, or for keyboard and mouse, because I play this game on keyboard and mouse. If you guys end up running this game on keyboard and mouse, for some reason, if you interact with a door like this and unlock it, you have to push the the open door key again. So I open the door with E, and then I push E again, and then I can dash. If for some reason, if you don't, you're just going to be locked in the animation where you can't dash here for some reason. So just a very small thing for those of you deciding to run on mouse and keyboard. This is going to be the first instance of a cutscene. Then I think you actually might be able to skip on your first playthrough, but if not, we get introduced to Vaughn. So I'm just going to go into this cutscene, and then by mashing right-click, we can just skip it. We don't have to worry about skipping it too fast because the timer does pause, so just skip it on your own time. And this is going to be our first void. You might have noticed that we have some stuff like HP, mana. This is the stuff that we use whenever we use our shield in game. You can notice that this goes down. And then we have spirits. This won't be really relevant because this is all currency that we don't really spend in the game. And then down here we have basically what I would consider like an Estus Flask or Soul and like Hollow Knight. If we ever take damage, so let me let this guy beat me up a little bit. Wow, okay, there we go. This is another nice reason we play on normal. We take almost no damage, which is really nice. But if we use one, we will heal, and we also refill our mana bar up there as well. So that's a nice little thing to keep note of. So this is going to be the first instance which I talked about waiting in a cutscene longer than you might want to actually save time. As soon as we enter this level, there's moving platforms in the background that will actually move in the real world as they move in the cutscene. So by sitting in the cutscene for a certain period amount of time, we can wait till like the perfect time to try to catch a cycle. It's been a while since I've played this game, so there's a chance I missed the cycle, but I'll try to go for it anyways just to show it off. As I enter here, I wait for a particular camera transition, and that's when I decide to skip the cutscene. So you'll notice, I think it's right at the beginning, you can notice these platforms moving potentially. It's right after this. This is where I skip, but you can see those platforms in the background. So those are all moving, and they were moving during the cutscene. And by going nice and quickly, I should be able to just barely catch this cycle. And since the timer was paused all in that cutscene, we actually saved a little bit of time by waiting in there and running around. So these are all Void Souls. They're not super relevant for any percent. You will need to get them for 100%, and they are the things that unlock extra spirit slots. I'll explain those in a little bit, but they're not very relevant for now. In terms of this section, it's just run around, copy the movement. It's a little bit finicky, but overall relatively easy. And by finishing the void, we also get an extra piece of HP, which will be nice to have just in case for like certain boss fights. Later game boss fights in this game do not mess around. A lot of the bosses will chunk you for like half your HP, so having a little bit extra is nice to work with. All right, so we're only, in terms of like an actual run, probably like a minute and a half, 2 minutes into the run. And this is where the first major sequence breaks of the game comes in. You can notice this little spirit dive floating up there. You're meant to get this much later. We're going to unlock abilities in this game like wall jumping and a double jump. And you're expected to kind of like wall jump and double jump off the walls to get up there. But by getting on this Vaughn statue, using Coyote Time, which I'll try to explain a little bit later since it's not like the perfect place to explain it, we can basically get on this window, not dash off the window, can you walk off? So here, dash, jump onto the window, walk off, jump, dash into this crack here. I have to open the door or I can't dash. And I'm gonna turn on my input display so you can see what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna hold W into this little like teardrop thing on the wall here. And basically what I'm looking for is for Umbra to get nudged up. If I attack, you can see there, that was actually perfect, like this. I usually wait to do it on a second attack. All of these are happening on the first attack right now, which is nice. But sometimes if you get a second attack like that, or like one where you get stuck, the second attack almost guarantees nudges you up, which is really nice. And when you get that nudge up, if you dash, we're gonna get launched into the air high enough to reach this beam, because we're gonna save our jump. This is that Coyote Time stuff that I was talking about earlier. So if I attack, jump, dash, and then jump, I can land on this beam and then grab the Fire Keep tier. This tier is absolutely busted. It is a spirit. I'll explain to you what it is when we equip it, which will be very soon. But then we have to go through the door and we just do some platforming over to this section. Now, I'm gonna kill these enemies, which you don't normally want to do, but just to explain something. Click the mouse one button a ton of times. Okay, and I already have my input display on, which is good. And normally I wouldn't kill these enemies. I would just come into this room along the left side here, dash onto this box, and then dash onto this corner. This game has a mechanic called directed dash. You might notice that when Umbra dashes, I dash very horizontally almost at all times. However, if I'm targeting something, I dash towards the target arrow. This is actually an intended mechanic. It actually gets taught to us like in 30 seconds from now, but we actually abuse it a little bit early. If you notice when I jump here, I'm gonna get a target arrow on this lever, which it tends me to do like all this platforming around this room. But if I aim my camera in this general direction, if you aim it too far this way, you might target the wrong thing, but I just put it in the top right of my camera. Jump, target, and dash. I can get up here much earlier than I was supposed to, which is very nice. And then the same thing is gonna happen where we're gonna get a timed mini game where it expects us to go around, but we can actually jump on this box. So make sure you don't accidentally break it, and then go to the room and go backwards here, which is nice. And just do this. So the timed event that's supposed to take like, stress you out a little bit is super quick. Now, we have this room at the end of the hallway that we're gonna have to go open. So this is the attack dashing stuff that I was talking about that will help you go down a little bit faster. So to open that door, we're gonna have to take a couple levers, but first, this is our first fire shrine. So this is the bench / campfire type thing that you would expect from like a Hollow Knight or a Souls game. When we interact here, this is gonna be one of our waypoints. It also saves the game, and it also allows us to equip spirits. So the spirit that I mentioned earlier, is the fire keep tier, and as you see at the bottom, it allows for a double dash. We got a double dash 3 minutes into the run. That's going to make the run a little busted. To explain the double dash mechanics, because a lot of what makes this game faster than certain other ones will actually be how you manage your dashes. So now that we've equipped double dash, you can see that we have this little teardrop in the top left here. Anytime I use my dash, my double dash, that tier is going to go away and it's going to fill up. So a lot of what going fast in this game is managing your double dash timing, and just making sure that you're using it when you can, and you're also using it in places that it can refresh as fast as possible, so you're not holding on to your double dash for too long. You're going to notice a lot of like small movement things that I do that revolve around this idea. So as we regress, now that we have double dash, we're just going to dash down this bridge. We're going to go up to the right side first and hit this lever. By doing stuff with double dash, we can cut corners. But this is the first instance of the game teaching you directed dash. You target, hit the lever, and then turn around just to speed stuff up a little bit. Now we go to the other side and do the same thing. Go over here and hit this one, and it will open the door. And we will progress forward. Let's go. We're going out of fire keep, out of the early parts of the game. Open the door again, a perfect instance of trying to get over a door as fast as you can. This is a perfect example. I know this cutscene is definitely not skippable unless you've beaten the game once, and it is like 3 minutes long, so being able to skip that is fantastic. Our main quest got updated now. We need to go find the Force Shrine and save, I believe, Nuos from it, or one of the gods. I don't remember which one. But we need to get there first, and before that, we need to go through the Arcane Tunnels. So this is where I'm going to explain Coyote Time for those of you that might not know about it. The name Coyote Time might sound a little strange to those of you, but it comes from the hit cartoon, Roadrunner, where the coyote sometimes in that show would just run into this midair and just kind of float there for a second. And a lot of game developers will add Coyote Time to their games to make platforming feel a little bit better, so that like if you're not standing on exactly the ledge and you jump, it still feels like your input didn't get eaten. Because sometimes if you're like a pixel off the edge and it looks like you should have gotten your jump, but you didn't, it can feel very frustrating. So developers will add Coyote Time to make it feel as if your jump didn't get eaten. This game, however, has a very interesting thing, which is infinite Coyote Time. So if I were to walk off an edge and fall all the way down here, I can still do my grounded jump as if I were on the ground. This is very helpful in certain platforming sections, particularly here, because we can do a nice little skip. Normally here we'd have to talk to Orp, who's that character over there, and he would open the gate. However, if we abuse Coyote Time, we can fall off this platform, dash, and then jump. This one can be a bit finicky for some reason. I have no idea why. But if we fall off, dash, jump, we can sneak over the fence over here, which is nice, as I failed it, but there we go, like this. And there we go. Normally you would have to talk to him and he would have a bunch of dialogue that would cause this fence to open, but by using Coyote Time, we can skip over that nice and easy. Now we're just gonna run past all these enemies and open this door. Again, sneak over it as we can and unlock this fire shrine. Notice spirits equipped here, but like I mentioned, these are going to be warp points later on in the run, and all the ones that we unlock are very important. In this chest, there is a new set of swords. All the swords in this game just have a cosmetic change and also do extra damage. So as I ride this elevator, normally this is where I would change my swords. You can notice that the screen wraps here. By going left on the screen, you'll go to the last page, and then we go over to this set of swords. I guess it's important to mention this game that you can play it either on controller or on mouse and keyboard. There's no really inherent advantage, especially in glitchless, to either or. There are certain glitches that you can only perform on controller for no major glitches category. But again, this is glitchless, so it doesn't really matter which platform you play on. So this is going to be another instance of where Coyote Time will be useful. I'm going to dash jump to land on this part of the statue, which I'm just realizing, is this the queen? This is some lore stuff I've never realized before. I'm not too sure, actually. It kind of looks like the queen. But now that we got this spirit, this is tunnel. I think it was something rat. I'm saying tunnel rat because I've been playing way too much Deep Rock Galactic recently, and there's a beer called that in that game. But we grabbed this. It's our second spirit, and the only other spirit we're going to get throughout the run. It gives us additional air damage, and we'll just equip it at the next shrine we go to. So we're going to go across here. You can just platform on this and head over to the door. I'm going to show you what is maybe the most glitchy looking thing in this run now. However, it is one of my favorite mechanics in the whole run, and I think you will all very much like it. So I mentioned earlier the concept of direct dashing. So if I look at this sign, I can target it, and if I dash towards it, I dash towards where my target is. Now, there is a thing called a direct dash cancel. So if I dash towards this and then I cancel my target before I reach the actual point in the thing, I'm gonna end up dashing past it. So if I dash and then cancel, I just go flying into the air like that. It's not super relevant here. This is actually just for a very minor time save where I remember explaining that getting over doors faster is better. So for here, you would open the door, direct dash, and then sneak over the door by going to the top. But it's easier to explain here than the place I'm gonna have to do it later, so I figured I'd explain the direct dash cancel there. It is an extremely cool mechanic. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but the important thing is to make sure that you dash first and then cancel, because obviously if you cancel first, you're just gonna dash in a straight line. But depending on how far the thing is, if the thing is very close like that sign, the timing is more restrictive. But if you're pretty far away from the thing you're dashing to, the timing window is pretty large, which is really nice. And it leads to a lot of very cool platforming. This section can be a little bit spooky, but make sure you're using your double dash cancel. So you can see I can land on that platform because I don't have my double dash across this gap, but I had it across the first gap. That's what I was talking about with managing your cooldowns. Don't get hit by those. If you do, it doesn't matter too much because your HP is nice and high. Nothing to worry about. And then there's this guy again. Orb. Orb's very cool. This elevator next to us is broken, but Orb's going to fix it for us. He wants to charge us for it, but we don't have the money for it because we haven't been farming. But he is very nice, and he's going to give us an IOU, which, this being a speedrun, we're never going to pay him back, but we don't have to think about that. So in this game as well, there is a bit of text mashing, but it's not too bad because there's 7,000 buttons you can press to mash. I'm mashing dash, jump. I can turn on the input display again too. So dash, jump, I believe E as well, and then I think Q doesn't advance. There's a lot of buttons. So there's 3 buttons I can mash to advance this, which is nice. It's relevant to know that dashing will, or I guess attack as well too, but dashing will count as the no option and attack will count as the yes option. So just know that if you are trying to mash text and you accidentally say no or yes, that's usually wise because you're dashing one key other than the other. But the elevator's fixed. We can progress a little bit now. Alrighty. We are now a little bit later. We're gonna go unlock another ability, which we definitely shouldn't be able to unlock quite yet. But by hitting this lever, and doing this cool little mechanic that I call slash dashing, it literally is used nowhere else in the run, besides here. Actually, I'll do it on this platform since it's a little larger. I'll just kill this enemy. But I mentioned earlier that Umbra has a 3-hit combo. And you can notice specifically on the 3rd hit, it happens on the 1st hit too, but the 3rd hit is very significant, that you get nudged forward. And that extra nudge of speed is just enough we need to cross this gap. So by attack, and then attacking on the edge, I usually give myself a lot of space. A thing to note as well is that you don't have to mash attack and then get the timing exactly. So long as they're somewhat spaced together but not too far apart, you can go through the whole 3-hit combo. So it makes it so that you don't have to space it perfectly on the edge. I like to just give myself some distance, do the 3-hit, and then just get the 3rd hit right on the edge. By standing on these little lamps, we can jump to the edge of each of these platforms. And then we can do another directed dash on this enemy. This enemy can be very finicky sometimes. I've often dashed to him and not grabbed this ledge and just fell and died. He'll also sometimes be standing too far away for you to grab. He's a cute little guy though. But if that happens, all you need to do is double dash under the platform, and if you stand at least a little far away, not too far, you can jump and target these barrels, which is a nice little backup for this, and sometimes will be the only relevant way that you can get up here. So we're gonna have another combat arena. I mentioned earlier that we can parry. If you block, use your shield right before you get hit, there's a chance that you can parry. It doesn't save the most amount of time, but I go for them on each attack here, so that was a parry there. Another parry, and it does just a little bit of extra damage. We'll speed these up just a little bit, which is nice. A little bit too early there, but that's fine. You can see that it doesn't do so much more damage that it's super relevant, but it can be sometimes. And now we're going to unlock another ability we definitely shouldn't have yet, which is going to be the Whirlwind Hook. Whirlwind Hook is very cool. I'm very glad we actually get this in the run. There was almost a point where we didn't get it because it was a little bit slow to come over in here and grab it, but overall it saved so much time in the run that it was still worth the grab. So the Whirlwind Hook is a spin attack. To charge the spin attack, because we have to do specifically a grounded attack. We're gonna basically attack and then hold the attack button. You'll see Umbra kind of shine up and glow with particles, and then eventually they'll actually turn blue, and the charge attack will be full. There's also a little sound effect that you will hear as well. Once you have this charge attack, you now have a spin attack, which will do a ton of damage and also launches you in the air. So we kind of have a double jump now, which is super cool. So again, you just have to make sure that you're on the ground when you do the grounded attack, but you can also just do whatever you would like after. So I'll keep my input display up for this sequence of movement, but normally I would attack here, and you can see that I'm still charging because I've held mouse 1 the whole time. And then again, I can just spin here instead of doing the slash dash to get across the gap. So that is very cool. And now that we're at a ladder as well, I can quickly explain the fast ladder climb. Normally when you climb a ladder, there's kind of just this jump sequence. To climb a ladder fast, we just jump at the apex of the little jump boost that you get, and then re-grab the ladder and just recycle that movement. So jump. Now I'll just get you up the ladders nice and quick. I can also mention that you are able to charge the spin attack while climbing ladders like this. You can charge spin attack doing a lot of things, and this is super relevant actually, because this is going to be a nice way that we sneak over doors and do other platforming later. Now we're going to do a bit of a sequence break by dashing over to this. And then we just have to wait for our double dash to recharge because we do need it to make this distance. Hit this lever, which will open the door up there. And then we go to this ladder, do the ladder movement, fall down. Owie. All right. And now we have reached, I cannot remember, Stoneheart City. That's the place we're at. We got a nice opening cutscene here. Again, I can charge my spin attack in the air because I started a ground attack there. And that'll allow us to cross the gap a little faster. This is the first fire shrine we've reached since we got that last spirit. So we're going to equip Aerial Rat is what it's called, which will do that extra little bit air damage, which is really nice. And now we're going to have to go on the fourth shrine. The fourth shrine is that door in the middle of the screen right there. However, there's a lever on the platform up there. Normally the game kind of wants you to go around this, but since we have so many abilities that we definitely shouldn't have quite yet, we can actually head up here, and by double dashing and spin attacking around, there's a whole ledge here that we can stand on, and you can come hit this lever early. You can also see that when I grounded attack this lever, I held my attack button, and I actually charged a spin attack here. This spin attack is actually not relevant because we need to fall down here, but stuff like that will become a little bit relevant, especially as we enter the Forest Shrine. So you might have heard me mention that this game is kind of Hollow Knight / Zelda inspired. This is probably one of the aspects that you'll kind of notice in here. This is very dungeon-esque. It's also a cutscene I can skip, but I'll let you kind of see the cool visuals. There's a bunch of like random puzzle stuff we have to do here, but again, we have so many abilities that we shouldn't have early that we can skip. Normally it wants you to go hit a lever over there that's going to lower the water level. There's like water around us, but that's the second lever. And by having double dash, we can just cross the gap super easily and interact with this and lower the water all the way to the bottom. That's super nice. By the walls in this area, you might notice that we're going to get a particular ability that some of you might be excited for. We're going to grab an old key from this chest. You saw that I actually charged a spin attack there. I'll explain it again here in a second. But opening this door is going to be another perfect example of wanting to charge a spin attack. So I'm going to start my spin attack charge here. And then I'm going to open the door. I'm still charging it throughout this section here, and this also allows me to just sneak over the door just ever so slightly and save that tiny bit of time. There's a couple combat arenas here where we're going to kill a bunch of enemies. There's going to be a couple back-to-back, so I will just let them play out. And if you have any questions, or if chat has any questions, you can feel free to convey them to me as I go beat up some enemies.
I've been keeping an eye on chat, and looks like, so at least from my perspective, you've been explaining everything very well. Chat hasn't asked any questions yet, so I think you've been explaining it well enough for them. But if anybody does have any questions, you know, feel free to ask at any point. I'm here reading chat.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. So here again is a section where I try to clump up the enemies, and by using a spin attack, which does a lot of damage, I can damage most of them down very well. This is another instance of where I'm going to charge my spin attack when I open the chest here. So attack and then open the chest. By holding attack throughout that, I've charged a spin attack, and then I can just sneak over the door by having that. Here again, I want to make sure I do a grounded attack, then open the door, because you normally wouldn't have enough time to charge one to save the ideal amount of time here. All right, we get one of my favorite items in the game, the newest claws. We now have the ability to wall run and do wall jumps. These are very cool. There's a bunch of like random instances where this is gonna save some time, especially since we can kind of bounce off walls and save some time that way. I didn't charge a spin attack there, so that's why I didn't sneak over that wall as fast as I'd like to. But now we can just go over towards the end. We do need the wall run for the rest run, even if we could have come down here and used our double dash for... No, I fell in the water. And not used... I'm getting owned by this one guy here. There we go. We didn't need them to complete the rest of the dungeon. We're going to need them for the rest of the game. So, we're going to get up here. And this is going to be the next instance of the directed dash. So this is another timed event, but you see this enemy right over here. This one right here. We're going to be heading over to this enemy as soon as we hit this lever, and we're going to direct dash cancel off of them. So I'm going to target them, I'm going to dash towards them, then cancel, and then I'm going to be able to like wall run on this like wall behind them, this little wall over here. So I'm going to hit this lever. I'm going to make my way over there. I'm also going to charge a spin attack on the way. Stand on this, target them, dash cancel, spin just to land on the wall, and then land and go in here. And that's the end of the timed event. This guy's angry at me. Here you can do a sequence of jumps and dashes to land over here. I'm also going to charge a spin here, which is perfect because I need it to, don't need it to get across this gap, but it also makes this gap way more consistent. We're going to go grab the holy key from here, which is what's going to let us get, or an old key, which is going to let us get the old key. I'm going to stay in here just to explain something really quickly. So again, I explained this a little bit earlier that you can kind of pogo off of enemies. This like third enemy in the distance over here, this guy, I'm going to go pogo off of him just to save a little bit of time in this section. When you hit an enemy, you get your double jump and your dash back. We don't have our double jump yet. But this is relevant for dash, especially since we're going to be, our double dash cooldown will be down as we get over there. So if I do this correctly, I'll try to do it first try here. We're going to dash, jump, dash across the gap, jump, spin, dash, melee, and then dash again to get across the gap nice and quick like that. So that little pogo that we do there saves a little bit of time, which is nice. All right, open the chest. This gives us the holy key, which will open the boss arena. And we're going to open this chest, which is going to give us the silver blades, which are swords slightly better than these. I know there's a chance that these don't actually save time, but maybe it's a placebo. But I think they usually help in the damage department because they do just a little bit extra damage. So this is going to be our first boss of the game. The bosses are probably, in my opinion, as someone that really likes movement games, probably the hardest part of the game. These first two, so this one and the one that we do after this, in particular, can be really weird sometimes. They don't take very consistent damage, and I don't know why. So sometimes you'll get like a 2-cycle on them, or sometimes you'll just be stuck in the boss fight forever. So if you're struggling with it, don't worry about it too much. Just do the boss fight. Eventually, your times might come down to like getting these boss fights quick, but overall, it usually never will. So this, yes.
Somebody was asking, do you think keyboard and mouse has an advantage over controller, or is it mostly?
I think it's mostly just preference. Again, in the other categories, controller actually might have a benefit over mouse and keyboard because of certain tricks only being possible on controller. But I am an FPS gamer at heart, so if I ever need to control a camera and not on mouse and keyboard, my brain dies a little bit on the inside. Oh, nice, I got the 2-cycle, perfect. So yeah, that's basically the boss fight, by the way. You just run over to him, spin attack him, do a bunch of damage, do some melee attacks on top of him after, spin attack both the adds that he spawns, and then you'll be good to go. The boss fight overall is very simple to execute. It just sometimes doesn't work, and I have no idea why. That being said, mouse and keyboard doesn't necessarily have an advantage at all, especially in this category. It's, again, just all personal preference. The other top runner of this game plays on controller, and they have a completely fine time doing that. I think I'm actually, funnily enough, the only mouse and keyboard player of this game. So, we have this stuff all done, and this is going to be another instance of save and quit. So we're going to save, and then exit back to menu, and then reload our file. And this will put us back at the shrine, which will be a little bit closer to where we need to be. So going to the right here, right as we spawn, we're going to do some movement, which is pretty cool. We're going to have to get over to a door on the top right here. So the like kind of past these like 2 arch things over here, there's a door behind that. So the quickest way over there is to dash over here. Make sure that you've charged a spin attack on the way. You can land on this little ledge, jump around, spin attack, and jump onto this wall. Actually, let me get over here and I can kind of explain a small bit of tech. I think this is wall grabbable. It is. Okay, so small piece of tech that I just used that isn't super relevant everywhere, but it's nice, specifically there and some other places just to save yourself. If you're grabbing a wall and you attack, you'll actually get like a little wall jump directly towards the wall. You won't be able to re-grab the wall, but in an instance like that, I can probably show you since I will spawn up here if I fall. But an instance like here, you can ledge grab. So if I dash here, I mean, I can also just land up here, but you can ledge grab these. But that, for example, is exactly what you would use it for. So situations like that. We're going to talk to the barkeep here. They're going to give us the graveyard key, which will allow us to go into this Arcane Tunnels. I don't remember what this area is called. I don't think it's Arcane Tunnels. It's like Abandoned Path, actually, I think is what it's called. That sounds right. Yes, Abandoned Path. Nice. Okay. So this door is what we open with the graveyard key. No need to charge a spin attack here since there's a cutscene right after it. So you just want to sneak. I guess there is like 1 or 2 doors that open from the bottom. Here I am proving myself wrong. So this is the Abandoned Path. Very pretty area. We're going to start off this by just doing some platforming. Again, this is all double dash cooldown management. So you want to make sure that you are using your cooldowns appropriately. Here's a nice little tidbit. If you want to have a nice jump over the door here, I'd recommend opening the door from like the right side so you're standing right in front of this wall. because when you do, you can, at the end of this cutscene, you can just jump into the wall and get a nice wall jump spin attack over the door, which is nice. All right, we're gonna get one of my favorite direct dash cancels in the run right at the start of this temple as well, which is cool. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go grab this key, dash over here, target this enemy, direct dash cancel off of them, and dash up here. If you ever don't want to do this, you can just do it the casual way. I'm sure if you end up playing this game casually, which you should, because the game is fantastic. Why can't I leave? There we go. Pushing the wrong buttons. I've been playing too many games recently. This is also very Wind Waker, if you guys have played that game before. We're going to push the buttons. So you can, I can actually quickly show you. So you can either wall jump between those sections, or once you've opened this chest, you can just hop on here. Actually, you would have your spin attack, which I didn't have, which is relevant here. So you can just hop on here, spin attack, dash, damage boost off of this, and then wall jump between those walls and get up there. The direction cancel is giving you some trouble. All right, we got some more lore cutscene, which we can thankfully skip, thanks to the help of the developers. Thank you again, developers. We appreciate you and all that you do. And we enter Uthas Temple at large. So this temple is very cool. We're going to be getting our third-ish, I guess, in the case of the run ability here. I don't know if you want to consider double dash one of them or not, since it's not an ability, it's a spirit, but I'm going to kill this guy just because I want to explain one of the weird jump things that we're doing. I'm going to explain it on the next set. But it's basically what I just did. Here's a set of swords that we're going to get. But when you jump into a wall in this game, it still mystifies me a little bit. Sometimes it just doesn't like to work, and I don't know why. But you can dash and then immediately jump off the wall. I think holding dash for a particular amount of time might be also the deciding factor, so I will turn my input display on for this. Again, if you're just got here, my dash key is my right click and jump will be space. I jump into the wall, dash, and then just jump as soon as I touch the wall, and you can kind of re-grab it. So normally in this section, you would have to go all the way around here and then climb the ladder and then get up there. But by doing these like weird wall jumps, I should also have a charge attack spin here, which is relevant. We can jump into the wall, spin attack, wall jump off of this, and land up here, which saves a decent chunk of time. Because again, like I said, you would have to normally just go all the way around this. There's actually a skip that you could probably do going the right side here. But in general, this saves like a ton of time. So you're going to have to do some of those jumps later on as well. So learning them now is probably a pretty good idea. I also haven't equipped them yet, but we did just get better swords, the Peacekeepers. We have another combat arena. For this combat arena, I like to dash back and right off the start and target this enemy, kill this one, target this one, kill this one. And then I like to do aerial attacks on these because they can hit you very easily. And the aerial attacks will always take 2, and it will almost, well, you won't get hit as easily by being in the air attacking those enemies. So again, we go this way. We got the Holy Key, which will allow us to open this chest, which gives us that third/second ability I was talking about, which is Uthas Bracelet, which is the ability to double jump. Let's go. We've basically been playing with a double jump this entire time with the spin attack, but now we have the equivalent of a triple jump. So this again is a section where those like wall jump things become relevant. We can wall jump into this wall here and get up on top of this. Get up on top of this, and then we can do a direct dash to get up here. Now, I haven't really explained this yet either, so let me go kill these enemies. So they don't bother me. Especially since we have double jump dash now. You might kind of comprehend the fact that I was explaining earlier that when you dash as Umbra, you only dash vertical. However, if you dash and push jump at the same time, you kind of do like a rising dash. This can be relevant to go upstairs, because you can go upstairs like that. But as soon as you're on a stair like this, you're just going to bonk into them. So by jumping and then immediately double jumping, so jump, and then on your second double jump, you're also going to dash. You're going to go jump, 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 and you'll kind of glide upstairs like that. It looks really cool because you do like a front flip up the stairs as well. So again, you're at the stairs, jump, or jump, dash. You'll kind of glide up the stairs like that, which is super sick. So that's a nice little bit of time save. We open this, which is the other holy key. And then we're going to head down here. Again, since we have double dash, which we definitely shouldn't have right now, it eases this temple up a lot. We can wall right here, and using Coyote Time and Spin Attack, get up on this ledge. Open this for the old key. And head on here, and then the holy key that we got earlier is for this door. So I mentioned that these first two bosses are pretty, I don't want to say random, because I don't think they are random, but it's just like, I don't understand how they work. And it can be a bit infuriating at times, but you basically just want to do as I do, and hopefully it goes well. Off the bat, the first attack is always the same. He's just going to jump out of the ground and do this jump attack at you, jump over this. Normally what I do here is I just shield underneath him, and then as he lands, I hit him. So normally here, sometimes you can actually just chunk him into his second phase off the bat. And I don't know why that works sometimes and sometimes doesn't. But that's a perfect example of like, I don't know why. So this is exactly what I was talking about, where I chunked them to the, you can get them to that HP from the beginning. Here, you don't want to do any spin attacks because these enemies are too short. And again, is another instance of where I like to do aerial attacks so I don't get hit like that. But sometimes that won't work, and that is okay. So go over here. And again, sometimes you can finish them in that phase, but they're being a bit picky today. You can imagine that this could be a bit of a problem speedrunning wise because you're adding so many phases to a fight that could have been so much faster. The fight necessarily isn't hard, but it just can lose you a lot of time if you're not going, if you're not getting these ideal cycles, which is a bit unfortunate. But if there's any glitch hunters out there or people that like looking into game code, feel free to look into that and tell me why it works sometimes and doesn't work other times. All right, so we got the Temple of God's Key now by beating this dungeon. We're not going to save and quit this time like we did in the other dungeon, though, because by not doing it, we actually end up a little bit closer to where we need to be. So we're going to leave Uthas Temple, and we're going to go basically straight across. There's going to be a door right in front of us that will lead into, what is it called again? I have it written in my notes. Temple Gardens. That's a magic card. I love Magic the Gathering. But yeah, so we go across the gap here into Temple Gardens. We're gonna have to do some more of that wall jump stuff to go around. Again, if you're ever struggling with this, usually there is a route that you can do that won't have you do them. And we can also get over doors a lot faster now with this double jump spin attack stuff, which is very cool. This is the Temple Gardens. By using this sidewall here, we can get on top of this door, and then from here, we can get up here, which is nice. And we're gonna go open this door. This is another perfect instance of wanting to charge our attack before we open this door here. So charge attack, open the door, because this door is very tall, but having the charge attack and the double jump, and not jumping early like I did, you can actually sneak over the door. Alrighty, now we go talk to Vaughn, which was the character we had the cutscene with earlier. That's Vaughn over there. I think we can skip this cutscene again, so you won't really see too much Vaughn dialogue, but he gives us the Sanctuary Stone. So this will give us the ability to fast travel between those shrines that we've been unlocking this whole time, which will be very relevant for later on in the game, as now the objective of the game, now that we've beaten those first two bosses, and those first two bosses will give us a bunch of lore about how the game works, is to go defeat the 3 Shadow Lords. And the 3 Shadow Lords all have a prerequisite that we need to finish before we can fight them. For Beria, the Ice Queen, we need to go defeat, or we need to go refill 3 soul vessels. For Sauron or Sirion, I don't remember their name exactly, we need to go open the waterways, which by like lighting flames, which have secret passages in the world, we need to go find all 4 of those. And then for Sirion, we need to go beat the like fire temple. So doing all of that and running around is basically kind of what we're doing now. So we're gonna leave this area. And we're going to go back to Abandoned Path through a different entrance/exit that we came through earlier. I'll actually let this like cutscene play so you can kind of understand what happens and why we didn't use this path earlier. But a door on the right-hand side is going to open. I think it actually shows in this cutscene perfectly. Open the door. Nice. So this is just another passage to Abandoned Path. So this door will open, and that is where we need to head. Over there. It also opens a door down below us. Not directly below us, but like below and across over there. Which is the path to the like Firefall River area. All right, so this is probably the hardest section movement-wise in the run. There is a lot of different ways to climb this parkour tower because we got to get all the way to the top of this thing. The way that I'm going to do it is the way that has direct dash cancels. However, there's a lot of ways that you can get up here. Feel free to experiment with whatever you would like, but basically every other way kind of uses the wall jump tech that I was explaining earlier to get up the walls a little bit faster and then get to the higher areas, which you kind of aren't supposed to get to, but with spin attack and your double jump, you can usually get to them. So the one thing that is relevant, though, is that everyone is going to have to go to at least this pillar. So by doing some wall jumps and landing on that ledge and then dashing over here, you can pick up this rose. This rose is a side quest objective, which is relevant because it's going to allow us to get the best swords, not in the game, but that we can get quickly in the game. So getting this rose is very, very important for the run. So we'll head over here. I'm going to direct dash cancel off of this guy. And the reason that this route is a little bit more dangerous than all the other ones is that these enemies will like attempt to murderize you the whole time that you're doing it. So I'm actually gonna heal really quickly. I don't die. I'm getting like the worst pattern in existence right now. There we go. And then I can direct dash cancel off of this guy. I'm also just gonna hide. I'm gonna play it safe, I say, as I fall. I need to hit this lever, which you will have to hit as well. So just make sure you plan this into your route if you do something different, because that opens the door over there. And then we can do a direct cast cancel off of this guy as well to get up here. In motion, that is much smoother than what I just did there, but I just make sure to take my time to not fall all the way down or die something, because that is relevant. So this is the Vessel of Souls that I was talking about for the ice boss. There's going to be these little orb things in a couple different sections of the world. You might have spotted one a little bit earlier because we ran past it, but by activating this, it kind of makes like a overworld little collection mini game. We're going to run around and have to collect all these soul essence. Nothing extremely relevant for this. It's just a bunch of the tech that I explained earlier in combination with each other. And then it has a specific route. This jump in particular can be a bit hard since it requires one of these wall jumps. And if you don't get one, it can be a bit finicky, like you can see there. So the safest way to go about it is to go to the platform right in front of us here, because you can get a ledge grab. But if you're trying to go fast, you can actually, if you get a decent one, which I actually haven't gone yet, there we go. You can just dash over here and grab this ledge, because this is where we're ending up going. And then it's just a lot of tap dashing all over the place. Grab this one. Head over here, grab this one. And then remember how we opened this gate earlier? We're actually going to be in the middle of this, unlocking this shrine as a warp location for later. We're going to do the same direct dash cancel that we did earlier off of this enemy to get up here. You can do something else to make it a little bit easier. Okay, we're fine. By like hugging this edge of the platform and then dashing over there and then coming around, but it's just a little bit slower. The direct dash cancels are honestly not that bad. The only thing that makes those ones in particular scary is the fact that the enemy will kind of beat you up. This is the wrong side. I need to go over here. I always confuse myself on the way down here. Head over here. Do some off the wall. I had my double jump and I forgot about it. Off rock here. The rock there can be a bit slippery, so just make sure you know where you're landing, and you should be fine. Again, here I'm doing a lot of very specific movement to conserve my cooldown for the most ideal point so that I have my double dash when I need it. And we grab the last one, and then we get warped back up to the top. Perfect, look at that. So now we have 1 of 4 of those done. Once you're done this, I think you'll always be facing in this direction, and you just go right. I like to use my double dash early so that it's coming off of cooldown as I'm falling. And you can cancel fall damage just by dashing, like before you touch the ground. And then we're going to go down this elevator. And this will be the first one of the waterways that we collect as well. You'll notice that I can go stand on this little platform and activate it. So I'm just going to do neutral dashes out of this elevator because I don't have camera control yet, which is nice. Activate this. Which then lights one of these flames. And again, there is 4 of these as well. Nice, okay. That cutscene is a little bit long before you can skip. I could have skipped it a little bit earlier than I did, but that is fine. It doesn't lose you time because of the way that timer pauses, which is nice. All right, out of here, we're gonna go back through that initial entrance we used over here, which will put us back into Temple Gardens. We're going to do the spirit vessel in this location as well. We couldn't have done it earlier because we didn't actually have the key item that we get from Vaughn at the top of that tower. So now we can do this one, which is the one that you might have seen earlier. I'll actually use this opportunity to drink some water. Make sure to stay hydrated, everybody.
Staying hydrated is an incredibly important part of speedrunning and any other part.
Absolutely. All right. So again, this one is just kind of follow me as I go type thing. It all has like the same movement that we've been doing out throughout the run. There's a lot of explanation at the start because there's a lot to go over, but then the rest of the run is kind of just applying those tools that I explained earlier throughout the run as you kind of move around. Now that we have the double jump as well, we can use that to save a little bit of time as we're going over doors. Also, I'm going to do this for demonstration purposes, but normally we don't grab this this fire shrine. But if you ever find yourself dying on like one of the bosses, especially the queen at the end of the run, grabbing this can be a nice fail safe, especially since it takes like 2 seconds to grab. Nice little backup. You'll notice that I use my double dash first here so that the cooldown comes up as early as possible. Grab this one, and then we have to go to the middle. I will note if you ever fall down here, you can do like the wall jump stuff to get up here, which is nice. There's always like a bunch of like random little backups like this that you can do. So stuff like that is like, good to know. There's lots of ways to save problems that you might have in this game, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. Having like lots of backups just to fix any mistakes is also always really awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this game gives you a lot of movement tools, which also, as a result, gives you a lot of ways to back things up, which is super nice. Actually, during one of my practiced runs yesterday, I fell down here, which never happened before, because normally what you're supposed to do is dash over here and land on this platform, and I fell, which was not good, because that's super high, and the only way to get up there again is this. But I found out that you can stand on this doorway up here, and then you can stand on this, and then from here you can spin and get back up on here. So again, lots of backups basically everywhere. If you ever find yourself stuck, there probably is a backup. I've also missed one. I don't even know which one I missed. This is strange. All right. Oh, it's just the one randomly on the bridge over here. How did I miss this one? Oh, it's because I ran past it when I went to get the spirit thing, and I confused myself. You have to grab this one too. Normally you would grab that one on your way over towards the gate. I just completely forgot about it because I wanted to demonstrate the fact that you could grab that shrine. Okay, so now when you spawn in, you're going to want to go backwards. I like to go over this railing and then just dash underneath, and then we have to go down this elevator over here. This is, again, another instance where, not this cutscene, but the cutscene that happens right as I go down this elevator. We can do the weird timer manipulator thing that we did at the start, where the platforms are going to be moving in the cutscene, so skipping it at a certain time, which I think actually, funnily enough, is like right when the cutscene starts. I don't remember my timing for this one exactly. Will allow you to do the platforming in a more smooth manner. So as soon as this elevator comes down, because the platforms will already be moving, I neutral dash and I lock my camera so that the camera will be in the right position. Hit this cutscene. Skip. Okay, a little bit early, so you want to wait like half a second because then you can land on this. Head over here. Down over here. So we're going to do actually a pretty cool... We haven't really done one yet, but there is death warps in this game. So we're going to... I'll kill the enemy too so it doesn't quite distract us, but... you can notice that this gateway in front of me is locked. And the lever to open it is underneath us. So if I fall down and kind of land on the lever, you actually don't want to spin attack here because you're not trying to go up. You're going to go down. I'm going to dash onto it, hit the lever, and then dash and then die. And then since my save spawn area is like set up here, I should spawn up here, which is nice. So this is the lever. Dash over, hit this lever. I actually don't know if it works if I landed. We're about to find out together here. I'm going to dash into this fire thing to die, and then I spawn up here. How neat is that? And I go over here and activate the other waterways. So a nice little death warp for you.
That's sick.
Yeah. We love a good death warp. So activate this. This will activate the second flame thing. Wonderful, look at that. Back over here. And we're gonna go do another soul fragment, which is the one in the kind of area in here. So to our right in this direction. I really like, there's a side quest that we don't do in this game, but the little Enop that we ran past just now, that's what those little fellows are called. There's like a bunch of ones named after famous classical musicians, and they play music on their little instruments in tune to the music that's going on in the background, which I think is a nice little touch that the developers did. All right, so again, this one is kind of a see what I do and replicate type situation. The movement isn't super complicated. You're just trying to go from point A to point B as quickly as you can. The one thing I will mention about this one is the little fire lizard on the platform in the middle over here can be a little terrifying because he hits like a truck. So just time yourself here so that whenever he throws the fireball at you, you're not nearby. I do a direct dash cancel here. You don't need to do this one, but I like that one because it's cool and direct dash cancels are fun to do. I grab this one, and then the last one is over here. Why do I keep missing one every time? Which one did I miss this time? All right. Usually it's the one in the... Oh, it's literally the first one. How did I miss this one? Oh, it's because I was talking about the little Beethoven guy over there with his flute. I'm trying to remember if I have a... I guess he's playing his little flute. Do I have a... I can do a little wave. There you go. You don't have to wave at him in the run, but, you know, we like to say hi to the locals on tutorial day. So we're going to head over to the Steam House. This is the, like, fire-esque temple that I was talking about earlier. It's got a lot of cool movement in it. There's like a whole pogo section at the end. It's really cool. So to start off, charge a spin attack, grab the ladder, hit this switch, which will open the door. Charge another spin attack here as well. I like to save my double dash for here. And then we have to do a pretty hard set of wall jumps. So you are gonna like have to learn how to do them for like skips like this. If you don't want to do the skip, you can just go do the normal platforming, but the skips definitely do save time. And the technique isn't the worst ever, so long as you get pretty practice at it. So this is the main hub of the steam house. Basically, there's a bunch of boilers that we're gonna have to go open. We're gonna start off by talking to Mira, who's gonna give us a steam key, which will allow us to open some of the doors. We're also gonna grab this fire shrine because we're gonna do a save and quit a little bit later, so we need that. Head over here, and now this is the, in my opinion, hardest wall jump section in the run. So to put it in perspective, we literally need to start on top of this thing to get enough height. We're gonna try to land on top of this little window on the wall here. So by doing like a set of wall jumps off this wall, kind of like doing this, like using your resets, you can land on the very tippy top of this window over here, which is nice because it will save like a decent little chunk of time. So I jump over to the window, do my dashes, just barely make it on top of this window. If you have a hard time with this, you can take the platform, but as you can see, the platform is extremely slow. So getting good at this is nice. From here, we just want to go from window to window. You want to be very careful. I have lost runs to accidentally grabbing this wall and like not recharging my dash and like running off. So just make sure that you're landing on the sill to refresh your double jump and stuff every time. Very much will make this more consistent. And then using double jump and dash, you can land down here, which is where the platform would take you normally, but is so much faster to do that way. Here as well, as soon as the platform reaches its apex is when I like to go here, just do a set of wall jumps between these walls. Head over here. Ow. I still don't know a great way to get through those enemies, but I kind of do basically what I did each time there. Talk to Maya, who is Mira's sister, I believe, lore-wise, who's going to give us the Iron Justice swords. These are great swords for now. We almost like don't use them at all, actually, funnily enough. But they also happen to be Keyblade for all those Kingdom Heart gamers out there. We use them, and they kind of just, you slot them in the slot, and you give them a good turn, and they'll turn the boilers on. It's kind of our objective here. I don't know if I finished explaining it earlier. There's 3 boilers that we need to turn on. This being the first. The second one is in the room kind of next to us. It's actually very easy to get to compared to this one. It's going to be actually kind of laughable. We did all that platforming to get to this one, which we actually kind of needed to because we didn't have the swords before. But the next one is literally hidden behind a button. How crazy is that? Already got the second boiler. So in here, we have the second boiler. And after this, we have some of my favorite little bit of movement in the game. It's basically a bunch of pogos, if the movement lines up right, to get across the gap. Because it's another section that has a bunch of very slow-moving platforms. But if you can use your attacks well, so I like to charge a spin attack here nice and early, sneak past this guy, land on this platform, poke off this guy, poke off that guy. I'll do a little bit of wall run here, and then you get all the way over here, which is nice. Again, like I mentioned earlier, every time you pogo off an enemy, it resets your double jump and your normal grounded dash, which would only happen if you were to touch the ground normally. But every time you hit an enemy while airborne, it resets that. So this is the instance of the save and quit. We've finished the quest. Save, quit to menu, and reload the file. All we have to do once we load in is we're going to hold back, so in my case S, and then we're just going to dash backwards. Bam, and we enter a cutscene. It's Mira going like, hey, thank you for doing everything. And we're like, no problem. All right. Now, this is my favorite little lore bit of the run. So we enter, what is this place called again? Rust Village. That's what it's called. This is where all the Unops live. And we're going to go talk to, I don't remember their name. We'll know it in a second once I talk to them. Beria. So Beria is having love life problems. And that's why we got the rose earlier. So we're going to give Beria a rose, who they're going to go try and give it to their significant other and see, or their crush, you know, and see how that goes. We're going to head over here. We're going to go talk to Vaughn, and Vaughn's going to give us the Key of Ember, which allows us to go fight the first Shadow Lord. And quickly to reset Beria's questline, we're just going to leave and re-enter this area. So as you know, we literally, like 10 seconds ago, gave Beria a flower so that he could go talk to his significant other. We're going to go see how much progress that they've made in that very short amount of time. I'm going to very slowly click through their dialogue too, because they have one of my favorite lines in the game is in Beria's dialogue here. So they have a child now. Things are going nice and quickly, which is nice. Nice to see you again. I can't believe this. I finally had the courage to talk to Inni, and how have I felt? And guess what? She secretly liked me back and didn't even have to care for the rose. And now I'm a father. Us Unops breed pretty fast. I'm so happy. Thank you, my friend, and for venturing any more. My fighting days are over, and you can have these now. So these are the best swords that we can have in the game. And my favorite line being we Unops breed quickly. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding. It's been 10 seconds, and you already have a baby.
That's incredibly quick.
Yeah, we got speedrunners within our speed game. It's kind of crazy. Life percent. All right, so now we have the Kina Defenders, which are nice 40 base power weapons. These will be great for fighting all the bosses. There are weapons better than this in the run, or in the game, sorry, but they take way longer to get. So we just go for these in the run. And now we're going to go fight the big Shadow Lords. Like I mentioned earlier, I suck at boss fights. I don't expect to die in like some of them, but Beria being the one we do after this one, she's really hard. So you know, we'll just go with the flow and see how things go. Oh, but from here, again, you kind of want to make sure you're spacing things properly, just because the gap is a little tight. But if you use all your abilities properly, you can cross the gap, and we get the opening cutscene to this guy, Sirion. Very cool. So his first set of attacks is just 3 swipes. You want to double jump backwards over them. Owie, this is kind of bad because the spin attack I had. All right, well, I swear it doesn't go this bad normally. I'll just get to show you the beginning part again. Yeah. Okay. How about we just start from the beginning? So again, to put this in perspective, it's not the worst thing ever, especially for this one, because the spawn point is super close. I've actually never had that boss fight go as bad as it did. But you know, there's a first for everything. That's never happened before. I think that's something that speedrunners like to say sometimes.
I've heard it once or twice before.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, for this, all you basically have to do is just run back over from the fire shrine. Oh, you can see the little shadow thing. This will be relevant for those of you that played Hollow Knight and Souls games. You grab that, you get all your money back. We don't care about money though, because we are already rich gamers. Okay, so again, just don't get hit. Forehead, very easy. Jump, jump, jump. Look how that, not bad at all. And this, you can one cycle this first phase, which is really nice. It's literally as easy as that. If you get hit, which is the unfortunate thing, you lose your spin attack. I don't think I actually mentioned that earlier, but it is very relevant in boss fights like this, where you just don't want to get hit, because you'll lose your spin attack, and your spin attack is like such an important part of your DPS output. So here we just got to wait for his little golden form to go away, which means his armor's gone. and we can one cycle the second phase as well. And now there is a way to one cycle the third phase. It's just really hard because the window is extremely tight. So I'm gonna... Yeah, I think that's... Okay, I still got it though. Let's go. So, if not, you would just do another one of those phases and then you'd be fine. And that is Sirion. That's the first one down. In terms of difficulty, I would consider Sirion the second hardest. Beria being the next one we're going to do, which is the ice one, and Soul Vessel's boss to be the hardest one. But again, it's all personal preference. As someone that's like never been very good at boss fights in any game that I play, they're just all hard. They're not the worst thing ever, but it can be infuriating, or it can be hard to do them fast sometimes, like getting that one cycle and stuff, because you're just trying to be as quick as you possibly can. So we're going to go back to the Hall of the Gods, I think is what this area is called. Temple of the Gods, close enough. And you can see there's like these 3 masks up on the wall. I think it's going to show them in a second here. Bang, there they are. And each of them will light up with each boss that we defeat. So we defeated Sirion, so we get one of the masks done. And now we're going to do another save and quit because we are a mile away from anywhere we want to be right now. Back into the game. Alrighty, and then here is when all this warping is going to start happening. So I'm going to warp to Firekeep to start, which is the first option on the list. And we're going to go do the last soul fragment section. So off the bat here, I'm just going to start moving backwards and dash. Just do a camera lock to change my camera. Head on over here. I get a nice charge attack so that I can try to jump over this door since it is pretty tall. And we'll activate this one. And again, this is another monkey see, monkey do moment where I'm just going to kind of run around and grab all these. There's nothing super complicated about them. It's just trying to do the fastest movement that you can to be as quick as you can. Like you can sneak under these railings and stuff to save a little bit of time in certain sections. Like that. Grab this one. I'll see if I actually won't miss one, because I think literally nearly every one so far, except for the first one, I've randomly missed one somewhere. So, yeah, there's 2 in this room. You can just double jump off of these. Don't waste your spin. Save your spin for this door. And start charging one as soon as you can so that it's charged and ready to go for when you're going back through it. Again, you can just double jump over this one. This one here, and one further in the room. Again, just double jump is perfectly fine for something like that. Over here, I should have my spin charge because I could be doing the attacks to go down faster, and then this will be the last one over here. And that does the other thing. So this is another section, again, another save and quit. So there's quite a few right around in this section of the game. So save and quit the menu, because it's going to put us right back in the warp, because we're going to have to warp again as soon as we spawn. All right, and for all the warps, you might notice that as soon as I load in, I don't get like the prompt to activate it. You have to walk off and then walk back on for the prompt to come up, just as a small note. But from here, we got to go back to Abandoned Path. And now that we have all 4 of them done, we can go fight Beria. So we're going to do the double dash cancel, or the direct dash cancel, sorry, again. My positioning is kind of bad here. I'm just going to be angry for a moment. And then do it. There we go. Again, those ones are only scary because that one particular enemy is very likely to hit you if you're not quick or you're already ready. So like charging the dash and then trying to move around all the time can be a bit complicated. Alrighty. For this section, don't fall in the water. That is, wait, where am I? I'm back here. These are like little blocks that will recharge over time. Okay, I've literally never had this one. I'm gonna everything recharge so I can be on the normal cycle that I'm on here. I like to dash onto this one, and then dash across the gap. There we go. You can also do wall jumps to get that little bit of extra height here. It's gonna be a bit unfortunate. I'm gonna heal early here. I like to usually have both heals for this fight because, like I mentioned, this is, in my opinion, the scariest one. She's gonna start off by doing 3 dashes. So as soon as you skip this cutscene, you just want to be ready to dash out of the way. Okay, and then the important thing here, and the reason that I struggle with this fight so much sometimes, is that you want to try to one-cycle this early phase, but if you don't, okay, which I did, which is nice, it can be a bit finicky. Right as this phase starts, I'm going to target dash towards her, get a couple hits in, which will make this second little bit a bit faster. So I'm going to jump, target, get a couple hits in. She's going to put a big shield up. And a charge. Make sure you're not like right directly in front of her because you can accidentally bonk on that sword that she just put on the ice there. All right, and now she's going to attempt to throw icicles at me. And these can be kind of hard to dodge sometimes, which will take away your spin attack, which is unfortunate. And then you're going to want to get towards the center here. She puts an ice ring on the outside. And like I said, the reason I don't like this boss is that she will literally one-shot you. Almost. I'm surprised that she actually did one-shot me because... Oh, no, I think that makes sense because I did take a little bit of damage from the things because her dash attack does 2.5 hearts and you only have 5 in this section. Ooh. Yeah, this is going interesting. There we go. Like I said, the platforming there can be a little bit awkward if you're not ready. If you lose your spin attack, it can be a bit strange. So again, I didn't do it the first time, but again, you can sneak over that door a little earlier than I did in the other attempt. By using the thing. And then here we're full HP again, which is nice. Let's get the cutscene and get out of the way. See, I don't have my spin here, so I don't think I'll be able to one-cycle this phase, which is unfortunate. Her tornado also does like half your HP, which is insane. See. Okay. Normally not this bad, but I'm out of practice. And boss is hard, and that's okay sometimes.
Especially if you're like rusty or just beginning, like you're gonna run into some issues. It's not a big deal if you take a death here and there.
Yeah, exactly. The more you play the game, the more you'll improve. All right, so this is a situation where I'm just going to hide around this corner to charge my spin attack. And then I'll come in here and then do this. That's like a nice, safe way to do that. Just make sure you have the charge attack spin so you can think about one thing at once rather than charging the spin and entering the room at the same time. Yeah, this was the one boss fight I was like worried about. This boss fight is significantly harder than the other ones too, at least for me, just because the damage output is like insane, and I find it hard to avoid the attack sometimes. So again, if you're struggling with it, do not worry. Even a god gamer like myself will struggle with it as well. we just got the 1 cycle, which is nice. Also, don't know how I took 1 damage randomly here. I just realized that I'm HP short. That's fine, because we can heal. Not after this, because we are a bit on a time frame here, so... But at the start of this phase, we can heal. Okay, so now the boss fight should be fine as soon as you get to this point. So you're just going to have to jump over the glowing bit on the ground here, dash forward, and then with this spin attack, you should have enough DPS to kill her in this phase. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So I was almost there in the first attempt that I did. I literally just died right before the last little bit. Very nice. Okay, we're going to do another, well, not saving quite yet, because we got to enter the little Zelda exit the dungeon shadow temple thingy. I will randomly appear in the middle of the arena. All right, and we're almost actually done now. We just got to do almost like just 2 more bosses, which are almost back to back. There's a little bit of platforming that I need to do between this and the next boss, but then it's like that boss and then immediately into the final boss. So we're almost done. I don't know what the timing is looking like quite yet, but I'd be, if timing works out, I could do another like full run with no explanation after this too, if we have the time for it. Full run would be about an hour, just for a reference.
We're at about an hour, so.
Another save and quit there will put us back at a shrine, so we could do a warp. Okay, so from here, warp, we're going to go to the Arcane Tunnels, which is that second statue that we grabbed at the beginning of the run a whole hour and a bit ago. We're going to go into this, which we could have gone to earlier, but since we didn't have the stone heart thing, I don't remember what it is exactly. Maybe not stone heart. Sanctuary stone, I think, is what actually activates this thing. We couldn't have activated it, so we activate this one, and then there's another one also in the Arcane Tunnels, so. Back we go. We're gonna go back through this door. Do some platforming over to this one. We're gonna hit the lever, and this is like another like mini timed event to get into that tube over there. Right here, into the little load zone, and we get the last waterways flame here. Now, I have very funnily called the boss we're about to do the easiest boss in the run. In my posted PB, I have a PB that's faster than the one that I have on SRC at the moment, but I haven't uploaded that one because I didn't have a proper recording of it. But in my uploaded PB, I called this boss the easiest boss in the run, and then I proceeded to die and lose a minute to him, so... he is still the easiest. You cannot change my mind. This will be another perfect example of this, like attacking will cancel the horizontal lock that you're in with Umbra on the way down. Okay, so for the first phase of this boss fight, you can literally just W key hold, like, and attack him as much as you'd like from the beginning. So I charge a spin attack, and then I just attack him over again. Even if I lose HP, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I'm just trying to get into the next phase as fast as possible. For this phase, it's very simple. We just start a spin attack, walk around in a circle on this platform. He's going to charge a laser beam and shoot you. Shield, dash out of it, go attack him. He's going to do it again. So just walk around in a circle on a platform. And charge a laser beam, shoot you. Here's a chance for him to do your platform. Does this a couple times. I think it's 3. And then you can just finish off the boss after that. As you can see, it is definitely the simplest of the 3 Shadow Lords. There's almost nothing that can really go wrong. I think the hardest damaging move is the laser beam, and the plan is to block it. So it is pretty nice because of that. I will note that if you... I don't know why the laser beam works like that. I'm trying to think of, like, there's other attacks in the game that even if you shield them, you lose your spin. So I don't know why blocking that one doesn't cause you to lose your spin. We headed to here, and there's not going to be a save and quit this time because the door in front of us is actually going to open and lead to us fighting the final boss of the game. Which will be the Queen. Now, before I fight the Queen, since I won't really be able to explain it in the middle of the fight, there's 2 phases to the Queen. Once we get the Queen to about 50% HP, they will go into their second phase, where they kind of turn into a shadow corrupted version of themselves. And in that version, there will be a couple fake versions of the Queen. And I prepared some images, which I'll pull up in a second here once this cutscene's over, to kind of show you the difference. So the one on the left is what the Queen will actually look like. On the one on the right is what the face will look like. You can see that the one on the left has like an extra set of arms and has like the big like star thing on their back. So that's just something to keep out. I know that's something a lot of people struggled with when they played casually, but if you're just trying to learn the run without really having to play the game, just something to look out for in that. And there's also a small audio cue that you will also hear. The one Queen that is real will laugh a little bit louder, and the audio is directional. So if you're wearing headphones, you should be able to pick out which one is the real one. All right, we just go to the big end thing here. And now it is the Queen fight. This fight is also, can be a bit difficult, but it's very difficult at the end, not particularly the beginning here. So here, every time the ring is about to explode is when I jump, and it usually gives you a good cycle. You're gonna wanna back up near the edge of the platform. Shield is about to hit you, jump off, dash towards them, get some damage in. As soon as you hear like the thud sound, that means they're not gonna take any more damage. Back to the edge of the platform. Yeah, we're gonna go on to, I don't know if you want to call it second phase, but basically this, not like the spooky phase. They're just gonna do something different, which is throw little light balls at me here. They're gonna shoot laser beams from the sky down. It's kind of crazy. We should be able to get into the next phase here. So you'll see that they're gonna turn to like the shadow form version of themselves. The real one, you can see what the real one looks like here, because that's the one that they turn into. The fake one kind of looks like this right now. Then they go super corrupt and they have that big shield behind them. There we go. This one over here is the real one. I'm not going to get them super low, because if I can actually make my life a little bit easier in the last phase by getting them super low here. Okay, not quite. So they're going to start off this last phase by shooting a fireball at me. Oh, I didn't get to block it. That's kind of spooky. Okay, we got them. And that's time. That is how to speedrun Blue Fire. The hit 2020, I don't know when this came out, 2021 Metroidvania 3D platformer, 2021, February.
2020. All right, awesome. We didn't have a lot of questions. I feel like you explained it very well. It very much seems like a game that is relatively easy to pick up, but it's going to be a little harder to master.
Yeah, no, it's definitely that. Yeah, no, it's definitely got very simple mechanics and the things that you can pick up and learn very easily, but the difficulty of the run comes in combining those to save time. You can very much easily learn the run, learn the route. The route isn't very complicated, and even if you struggle with certain things, there's usually backups or alternate routes that you can learn. And then the mastery of the game comes from combining those things and doing them as quickly as you possibly can.
Which is good, because you have, like, that building blocks to build on. It's like, okay, I can start off with the basics, and then I can slowly build on top of that and, you know, combine things to just save seconds here and there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, it's a great starting speed game, I think, for that exact reason. Because you get to pick up and learn things from the beginning, which is very nice. But yeah, that is basically it for me, unless we want to do a run. But I know I gave you about a 2-hour estimate, and I think we're around that. So
we're at about a minute 40, an hour 40. We can definitely fit in a run here if you want.
For sure. Do you guys want to take a quick break? I don't know if you guys want to run ads or something. I can quickly grab some water, run to the washroom as well, as everyone else should do. Get up and stretch.
I definitely would like to get some water, so I'm definitely gonna go to a break here.
Sounds good.